Welcome to ARC Encounter, where we seek to grow and discover more. I'm your host, Marina, and I'm excited to walk the ARC path with you. Today, we have a special episode featuring both Bernard Bashira and Casey Cox as we encounter courage through the lens of mindset. Now, let's get you started on this quick video to continue your journey on the ARC Encounter.
AHRK is the lifestyle path to better choices. It empowers us to live life to the fullest and paves the way for people like you and me to discover our unique purpose and passion. Choosing to walk the AHRK path invites transformation and growth in 5 key areas of life: leadership, communication, mindset, community, and lifestyle. As we dive into these lenses, they redirect our focus and guide us into a deeper understanding of where we're at today and where we're going tomorrow. This is ARC Encounter.
Well, welcome back to the ARC Encounter. I'm Casey and I'm your guide, but today you have Bernard too, and he's going to join us in just a second. We have this discussion in the ARC Encounter: which one of the 5 lenses is the most important? Is there a particular order that you have to go through? And the answer is the one that you're dealing with at the present moment is the most important. So guess what? Today, mindset is the most important lens of the ARC Encounter. And as we encounter mindset, we're going to invite you to recognize that what is your mind set on? Sometimes we recognize that it's set on the wrong thing and we're going in the wrong direction. Other times we have to contend with the fact that it's not set on anything and it's just blowing in the wind and going wherever it pleases. Well, today, as we encounter a mindset on courage, we are going to unpack for you that there is a way to overcome any and every obstacle that might be in front of you. Because when you have your mind set on courage, fear simply becomes forgetting everything and rising. Fear simply becomes something that fuels your fire. And failure is a first attempt in learning, and it's your opportunity to discover how to learn and grow. Those are just some funny acronyms that I hang on to as we encounter mindset and courage as a way to overcome. So welcome to the ARC Encounter, where Bernard and I both get to be unarguable, unshakable, and undeniable. If this is your first time in the ARC Encounter, Bernard and I both love the journey. We both guide, but today we're friends.
Yes, well,
We're hanging out.
yes, we are. Well, thank you.
How do we do this?
Where do I grab the mic today? And that's what we do on our podcast, by the way. It's a fun wrestle in trying to communicate to you and share with you just kind of the joy that we have in these topics that we keep exploring, because it's grown us so much. It's grown our friendship, our community, and our family. But most importantly, it's grown our mindset.
Absolutely. And so let's jump in with, we're not going to do our VIP, but which one of the 3 unarguable, unshakable, undeniable words do you like the best? Which one do you go, I just want more of that, whether you have it or not?
Gosh, that's a tough one for me. You know what? It's daily. It's moment by moment, and there are some conversations that I have where I just I feel like I'm unshakable, and some conversations where I'm undeniable. But I think it's just as I bounce between them, I think the key is courage. I think it's kind of where I'm anchored in that moment in the conversation, that confidence, that insight I have into what am I saying, what am I feeling, what am I experiencing. So I think it kind of threads into our topic today.
I think it absolutely does, and it's why I lobbed it out there. I think what you described was being unshakable. That you talked about your communication and recognizing you come out as unarguable, so that you can be undeniable. I just threaded them all 3 back through because but they're a mindset. They are the recognition of, you know what? There is a best version of me, and it's the only version that I want to show up. And I'm going to keep pressing for that.
Yes, well, I'm almost going to turn the tables on you and throw that back at you. But before, it's just, how do you talk about being unshakable and undeniable and hold on to humility? I think that's something. Yeah, I want to bring that in because it's a courage point.
It is a courage point to be so courageous that there's nothing that you can't overcome, and yet to be humble in that. And I think for me, it's a little bit of the difference between simply being brave and courageous. Courageous recognizes fear. Courageous recognizes failure, and it doesn't attempt to ever remove them from the discussion. And so as I'm courageous, I'm very honest and open that I failed. But it's not a period at the end. It's I have failed, and or because of that, I've risen up to face it again, to overcome it. And once I recognize that every time I get knocked down, I can get back up, I'm no longer afraid of getting knocked down. So I become courageous in getting back up. Bravery, on the other hand, sometimes is blind. And that's not bad. I'm grateful that soldiers become very brave to face the enemy. I'm grateful that firefighters or police officers are brave enough to take on an occupation that puts their life in the line. To me, that's brave.
Yes.
And it is they have to choose to say, I'm going to just push out the fact that I could die today.
Yes.
And I'm going to be brave. What we're talking about in courage is, I don't want to die today. But I'm going to face something that could redefine me. And I might need to die to myself, to die to what my expectation was in order to rise up on the other side. So there's a long answer.
That was a long answer. But there's so much treasure in that. And just kind of, it's a joy that I have in knowing Casey for so many years. The one thing that he's practiced so much of his life, especially as we talk about the conversations of unarguable, unshakable, is this concept of humility that he brings into the conversation. I, on the other hand, have practiced all of these things, but with more of a prideful facet to them. And it's a completely different lens.
If there's a like button on your social media and you can hit the thumbs up button, there are some people that are hitting the thumbs up button right now. But what a joy to be able to come to an ARC encounter. And this is just as much an ARC encounter for Bernard and I as every other ARC encounter. We want to believe that over and over, moment by moment, breath by breath, the ARC is the path of life. And so we don't step off of an ARC encounter and then step back on. It simply is what we do. It's who we are. And so today, as we encounter mindset and courage, I couldn't think of a better topic for us to just chat about. We're not perfect. You do know that, right?
Oh, are we live? By the way,
we are live.
Okay.
We are being perfected, and that's a daily progress of our journey. But we don't have to be perfect.
Yes.
We don't have to always get it right. But what we do get is to take every thought captive. And the thoughts that I've seen you take captive are the ones that tell you you're not perfect.
Yes.
Because you go, no, I am the best version of me. There's no other Bernard Bashura in the world. And when I show up, I'm going to reach for excellence.
Yes.
I mean, that's how I capture you.
Yes.
Would you like to improve upon that?
No, you did good. You did good. But I celebrate that. I think it's the awareness of, I have to get it right every time. And I think it's just the shift is to show up and go, you know what, I'm going to be that best version of me. And I think that's the shift between pride and humility. And for me, as I've seen you, as I've seen other people that I wanted to reach for it in my life, it took a lot of courage. Mm-hmm. You're letting go of something. You're letting go of this mindset that if I don't seek perfection, I will never attain perfection. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole lot of lies in that. And then just kind of showing up and doing the best that of course, I mean, doing the hard work is critical. But showing up and knowing that, hey, you know what, this is kind of the best version of me, and I'm prepared.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what we may not be prepared for is what's coming next. And this is an encounter. He's getting nervous. Bernard and I practice beginning with the end in mind. It's just a principle that we walk through, and it's why the ARC encounter always reaches K. The kingdom experience is what we were living before we began A, H, and R, because we said, how do we reproduce this? How do we touch it moment by moment? So if we begin at the end, Bernard, you've been successful for a long time.
Yes.
And I will say I've been successful for a long time, but success is different today than it was 10 years ago.
Yes.
10 years ago, somebody else would have acknowledged something in you that said, this is why you're successful.
Yes.
What are you acknowledging different today around the term of success, and bring in the courage to own that?
That's it's a mindset shift. I mean, it's such a perfect topic for that. It's the biggest element of success for me today is finding that place of peace in the conversation. in my previous mindset, there was a journey to control the conversation. There was a journey to be on top in the conversation, and that's a struggle. That creates tension in conversations. It creates internal tension, and it was a battle. So then, you go from meeting to meeting, conversation to conversation, going, how did I do? How did I do? Was I impactful, and did I succeed in that desire, that goal? And today, once I've released that, and I have to go back and release it every day, every conversation, going, I want to be present. I want to be present in this conversation. I want to be present in this conversation. It's once we release that, we can celebrate who we are. We can celebrate our mindset, but it took a lot of courage.
So, what are you acknowledging when you're not present? How do you get the reset? So, acknowledge is the identifying what's real and what's not real.
Yes.
It's engaging the choice of perception.
Yes.
It's encountering the fact that sometimes I'm telling myself a story about who I am and how I show up. And where does that proverbial rubber hit the road where you go, I'm not present? What do you acknowledge so that you stay present?
Well, first, I mean, the awareness that it's not okay right now. There's a tension that's just not okay. And whether the tension is from me or from the person I'm connecting with or the situation, recognizing that, hey, right now, it's just not okay. There's something not okay. And then being okay with that. Because the reactionary in me is, I need to get this right. I need to perfect this. So hey, you need to be okay. I need to control the situation. And for me, that was the biggest thing, is going, okay, what's going on? What's happening? Pause, reset, and then assess the situation.
And so I'm gonna mirror that and go out there. That must be something that we approached it from different lights. Because for me, I have no problem with mess. As you looked at my office the other day, and you got to do something. You didn't say that, but your eyes said that, so I did something. I got no problem with mess, so the control of the mess doesn't bother me.
Yes.
But for me, it's having enough tools in my back pocket that I can always fix the problem. If I wanted to clean my desk, I'd clean my desk.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was a sense of my control wasn't over the circumstance. My control was having the depth of the resource that I always had options. So it was kind of a subversive control.
Yes.
And I really appreciate how you said that, because it drew that out of me to go, what? Because I'm okay not to have options.
Yes.
I'm okay to go, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do next. If a guest doesn't show up on the AHRK encounter, we go, hey, audible. Let's go somewhere different today. Yeah. And so we acknowledge that, you know what, part of the joy and the mindset of courage is not being in control.
Yeah. Did you just say that?
Are we going to talk to you about that? Because these two guys right here often look like we are in control of everything. Yeah. Go traveling with me. Yeah. I'll control it all. Yeah. Ask me a question. I always have an answer. So we're just simply acknowledging that in order for courage to show up, we have to release control.
Yes, and really you bring in the topic of mindset, and for me that was such a reflecting on it, studying the tension that continuously comes my way, and it was exhausting. It was one of the things that when again, I'm going to just jump us into healing. I needed healing because I was tired. I was mentally exhausted. Now, here's the thing. I endured it. I mean, my mind went to battle to control, and I think I won. And of course I didn't. But in my mind, I overcame the battle, and I could go on even if it kills me, which I was on the road. I was on the road.
Come on, take me down.
But it was this. I was like, oh no, I needed healing. I needed healing in my mindset, in that I want to live a full life. I want to do the best that I can. I want to work hard, but I don't need to control the situation. I don't need to control every facet of every moment of my day.
And I'm going to invite you as a listener, viewer, individual in the journey. I want to point out what healing looks like on a practical basis. It looks like me
Mm,
sitting back in my seat. And you go, why is that healing? Because what I recognized, even as Bernard and I'm not the guide, or I'm not interviewing you. I'm here to be with you.
mm,
And part of my control is if I'm up here, I'm in control.
mm.
If I'm back here, I'm being courageous, because what if Bernard doesn't stop talking? What if he fires a question at me that I don't have the answer to? And so my choice of healing is to say, I release that.
Yeah.
And I have the courage to tell you what's going on in me right now. This is uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable in healing, and you probably be uncomfortable in healing.
Yes.
We've both been uncomfortable and vulnerable
Yes.
in healing together, in the sense of, but what if?
Yes.
Do I trust you? But what if? And that's the healing of courage, is recognizing that as I bring people around me, um, I'm going to heal in community.
Yeah.
We're talking about mindset, but do I believe that I can heal in community, or do I want to go away in private, get myself all fixed,
Mm.
and then show back up and say, "Hey, look, I got my mindset
Yeah.
fixed."
Yeah.
It
No,
doesn't work.
it honestly doesn't work. And I love where you went with that, because the courage to bring a friend along on the ARC path, the to bring someone along requires courage on your part, requires courage on their part. But it's being recognizing that to get to the finish line, and if there is a finish line, I'm gonna get there, and look, I got to the finish line. This reality is, guys, there is no finish line. The finish line is we move together as a community. For me to go anywhere without my family, with my wife and children, is nice, but it's not as exciting as if I show up with my family. And that's the thing, is, guys, we're family. So in this world, I'm not even just talking about this community. It's in this world, we're family, and we have to keep inviting each other into the ARC path. These encounters of authenticity and intimacy requires courage, though.
Amen. And as we encounter healing, and we begin to realize that, in healing we engage a choice of process, that life is a process, and we're going to go forward. In restoration, we encounter that it's the choice of progress. I'm not done. And just growing by 1% a day is going to transform to 37% increase over the year. That statistic is actually not made up. Thank you, Atomic Habits. But what I'm going to give you is a sense that, we're not done. We're still building. We're building our best lives. We're growing. We're reaching for better. And that's really what the ARC path has led us to, is a lifestyle of better choices. And our mindset in that is that I can choose that. I can choose that wherever I'm at today, tomorrow can be better. And so I take it captive, I move it, I grow into it, and I recognize, wow, I want a courageous mindset. And that's the option that we're kind of presenting. So what does courageous mindset look different versus a defeated mindset?
Options. I think the biggest thing that I see is that a courageous mindset is always looking for options, searching for options. And it's the best way to test that is look at the conversations that you have with your friends and community. Almost the majority of the conversations end up being where this is how it is, and there's just no option. And it's like, wow, you look at the world around us, and I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about lunch. I mean,
and lunch can be a really difficult decision.
It is around our office. It is, but no, I mean, just with our kids, with our family, with our parents, with our siblings, just our community. We look at life, and most people go, "Well, this is how life is." There's not really a lot of options, and for me, that's the shift between this concept of restoration, where when I show up, it's, hey, you know what? If it didn't go well, there are options.
And when something doesn't go well, you have the choice of changing it.
Mm.
So engage with us on an ARC encounter live right now. Guess what I just heard from the producer that's off screen? Casey, sit up. Now, he didn't tell me anything. He just gave me a look. I'm looking at him right now while I'm looking at you. And he was kind of waving and saying, what's wrong? And I'm looking at, I had to figure out what was going on. I got really casual. I got really relaxed, and I forgot that I need to choose to show up as the best version of me. And the best version of me is using my skill set, my experience, my posture, and saying, I'm present. And so I sat up. So the ARC encounter is a constant encounter. So I went through to Kingdom and said, I'm no longer in control. Yay! And then I had to acknowledge that not being in control didn't mean throwing everything out the window. It meant what works best.
Yes.
And who are you going to be? And then I could heal that, forgive it, let it go,
Yeah.
be courageous to re-engage and go, I've got options.
Yeah.
And in the restoration, our options are always in front of us. We can learn, we can add something, we can take something away. A lot of times in courage, it's actually removing more than it's adding.
Yes.
It's saying, you know
Fear.
what?
Fear.
I'm going to kick out that fear. That's
tough.
another deep breath.
I know. But we you know what? Just as we continuously live life this way. By the way, guys, this is not just on camera; it's off camera. We celebrate each other. We celebrate the conversations of our communities, our friends, just kind of what's happening around us, because that's what life is. It's meaningful conversations that grow us and grow our surroundings. But it just in jumping from restoration, I think when people always tell me there's a hard transition between this concept of restoration and kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the line? And we talk about a lot of different lines, but where do you draw the line when it comes to courage and mindset? Well, not just mindset, I think just courage in general, from restoration to kingdom.
I love that you did that to me.
Yes.
Because I normally would do that to somebody else.
Because it was the last one down the line.
Yes, it was. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to give you the question back to clarify.
Okay.
Because that helps me think and process.
Sure.
There is something unique between restoration and kingdom.
Yes.
And you're acknowledging that courage plays a role there.
Yes.
And so the question is, what is the line when I move from restoration into a kingdom experience? And I think mindset is really the answer. Now you go, okay, what does that mean? But acknowledging, healing, and restoring is a 24/7 without ceasing engagement.
Yes.
Breath after breath, I'm moving, I'm acknowledging, I'm healing, I'm restoring. Kingdom is a constant as well, but it's not like the fourth step in the journey. Like, okay, I restored, now I'm going to go have a party. The party, the victory, the celebration. As we talk about kingdom, what we talk about is living a life of abundance. It's having a mindset that I am unshakable, I am undeniable, I am unarguable, and owning that and taking ownership of my life. And so the line between that goes back to our VIP. When you are a VIP and you own your experience, you've stepped into the kingdom. Now, I go through restoration and I go, can I become better? It doesn't deny, I didn't arrive. I'm not done, but I am at a place where I go, now that I've attained X level of experience, what book should I read next? Who's going to mentor me in something I've never done before? How will I grow into my dream if I've never been there before? So I need a dream coach. I mean, I'm just, so
I love that.
Where's
I
the
love
line?
That.
It's the line of recognizing I'm not going to settle.
Yes. Well, I think it's just, I love that last part where you said, not only am I not going to settle, but I have it's like this open realm of dream. So it's kind of, I find rest in who I am and where I'm at right now. And then my options to dream is exponential at this point. It's unlimited.
Which is what you just described as kingdom.
Yes.
When I'm in restoration, there's often a goal or a achievable desire I'm looking for, and I want to touch that. When I'm experiencing that kingdom, it's unlimited. There's no end. And yet I choose to go back through that process because really, that's what gives me hope. I'm not done. There's more I'm going to experience. And as you talk about bringing your family along, how do I grow my family? How do I share with them and encounter them? And that's really what our option is for you today is come be a part of our family. Find your way into not our lives, but an ARC encounter experience. Maybe just sit down and go, what's my VIP? What do I need to acknowledge, heal, restore in kingdom? And don't do it alone.
Yes.
And the best part is we've got options for you. So thanks for joining us today on the ARC Encounter as we touched on mindset, we went into courage, and we want to invite you, come back. And here's Marina to tell you where to go and how to get there so you can join us on an ARC Path experience.
Today, we learned that part of having a mindset of courage is not being in control. Is there anything that you need to let go of and start letting go of control in your life? Well, you can discover more on our website at www.arcpath.com. Follow us on social media at ARCPath. If you want to listen more to Casey and Bernard's amazing and intriguing conversations, listen to their podcasts available on all listening platforms. Download our Circles Now app so you can have access to all our courses to continue developing a lifestyle where you make better choices. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to see you on our next encounter.